Welcome to Buddha Story Haven. If you found this video, there's a good chance life feels heavy right now. Maybe your heart hurts. Maybe your mind won't stop racing. Maybe you feel tired of pretending you're okay. Tonight, I will share 23 gentle Buddhist stories for the days when everything feels too much. These are not just stories. They are small lamps for dark nights. As you listen, let the words move slowly. Let the mind soften. Let your breath deepen. And before we begin, if these stories bring you comfort, please subscribe to Buddha Story Haven and comment where you're listening from. It helps this little sanctuary reach others who are also struggling in the dark. Now, let us begin. The cracked pot. A woman carried 2 water pots every day from the river. One pot was perfect. The other was cracked, leaking water along the path. The cracked pot felt ashamed. I am useless, it thought. I fail at my only job. One day, the woman said, "Have you noticed the flowers on your side of the path?" The pot had not. "I planted seeds along your side," she said, "and your leaking water has watered them every day. I decorate my home with the flowers that only you could help grow." The pot fell silent. For the first time, it saw its crack as a gift. You don't have to be perfect to be valuable. Your cracks, your softness, your sensitivity, your leaks may be watering flowers you cannot see yet. When life feels heavy because you feel broken, remember, you might still be exactly what the world needs. The 2 arrows. The Buddha once said, "Life shoots us with 2 arrows. The first arrow is pain, loss, illness, conflict, loneliness. The second arrow is what the mind adds. I'm a failure. This will never get better. I'm unlovable. I can't handle this." We cannot always stop the first arrow, but we can choose not to fire the second. When your mind starts saying, "This means something is wrong with me," pause. Place a hand on your chest. Whisper, "This is the first arrow. I will not create the second." You can't always erase pain, but you can stop multiplying it. The empty boat. A monk was rowing across a river in thick morning fog. Another boat slammed into his. He exploded with anger. "Watch where you're going," he shouted, until he realized the other boat was empty. It had drifted on its own. His anger vanished instantly. He whispered to himself, "How many times have I shouted at empty boats?" Many people bump into your life from their own pain, their own stress, their own confusion. It often isn't about you. Next time someone is rude, cold, distant, or unfair, whisper inside, "The boat is empty." Watch how fast your heart relaxes. The cup of salt. A monk told the Buddha, "My suffering is too big." The Buddha gave him a handful of salt and said, "Put this in a small cup of water and drink." The water was bitter. Then the Buddha said, "Now throw the same salt into a lake." The monk drank from the lake. The water was fresh. "The amount of salt has not changed," the Buddha said. "Only the size of the container. Your pain is the salt. Your mind is the container. When your world shrinks to only your problems, everything feels unbearable. Breathe. Look at the sky. Talk to someone safe. Touch nature. Expand your awareness. You don't always need a smaller problem. You often need a larger mind. The wise farmer. A farmer's horse ran away. His neighbors said, "Such bad luck." He replied, "Maybe." The horse returned with 3 wild horses. "Such good luck." "Maybe," he said again. His son broke his leg trying to tame one. "Such terrible luck." "Maybe," said the farmer. Later, soldiers came to take young men to war. His son was spared because of the broken leg. "Such good luck." The farmer simply smiled. "Maybe." When life feels heavy because something bad happened, remember you're in the middle of the story. You don't yet know what this moment will lead to. Hold your pain gently. Say, "I don't know what this means yet." Sometimes what feels like the worst moment opens the door to something you can't see yet. The old woman's lamp. An old woman had almost no money. When the Buddha came to town, everyone brought lamps filled with rich oil. She brought one tiny lamp bought with her last coins. In the morning, all the rich lamps had gone out. Only her small lamp still burned. The Buddha said, "They gave from their wealth. She gave from her heart." You may feel useless when you don't have much, not much money, not much energy, not much hope. But what you give from a tired heart, from a place of struggle, often shines brightest. A soft word, kind message, a gentle presence. When life feels heavy, you don't need to do a lot. Just do one thing from the heart. The rope that looked like a snake. A man walked at dusk and saw a snake curled in the path. His heart raced. He froze in terror. He stood there for a long time, afraid to move. When the sun rose higher, he saw it was only a rope. The snake was never there. Anxiety is often a rope in the dark. Everyone secretly hates me. I will always be like this. Something terrible is coming. These feel like snakes. Shine a bit of light. Talk to someone. Write it out. Breathe through it. Most of the time, you'll see the snake was never real. The golden bowl of ashes. A wealthy man died, leaving his son a beautiful golden bowl. The son polished it daily. He showed it proudly to everyone. One day, the Buddha opened it. Inside were ashes. Your father, the Buddha said, polished the outside and hid what was inside. In our world, we polish the outside. Social media, appearance, achievements, everything's fine. But depression grows when we never look inside. You don't have to seem okay. You're allowed to admit you're not. Healing begins the moment you stop polishing and start cleaning your inner bowl. The monk and the thief. A thief broke into a monk's hut. The monk saw him and said gently, "You came a long way. Don't leave empty-handed." He handed the thief his only blanket. The thief was stunned. He left in silence. Months later, he returned, not as a thief, but as a student. "I couldn't forget the night you were kind when I deserved anger," he said. Someone may hurt you and vanish, but your reaction stays in you. You don't have to respond with bitterness to people who are lost. Sometimes the deepest peace is simply choosing not to become what wounded you. The bamboo that bends. During a storm, a strong oak tree and a slender bamboo stood side by side. The oak resisted the wind. It refused to bend. The bamboo bent with the storm, swaying, moving, not fighting. By morning, the oak had snapped. The bamboo was still standing. When life feels heavy, we often tighten up inside. I must stay strong. I can't fall apart. I can't let go. But real strength is flexible. You don't have to be rigid. You're allowed to bend, to cry, to rest, to slow down. Bamboo survives because it moves. So will you. The mirror of the mind. A student showed his teacher a dusty mirror. "It's useless," he said. The teacher replied, "Clean it, slowly." With each gentle wipe, the mirror began to reflect light again. "It was never broken," the teacher said, "only covered." Depression can feel like your soul is broken, but often, it's just covered by exhaustion, by grief, by fear, by old wounds. Healing is not instant. The small, daily wipes of the mirror. One breath, one walk, one honest conversation, one moment of rest. Little by little, the light returns. The Buddha and the insult. A man insulted the Buddha for a long time. When he finally stopped, the Buddha asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does it belong to?" "To the one who offered it," the man replied. "Exactly," said the Buddha. "I do not accept your anger." People will throw words from their own pain. You don't have to take them in. You can say quietly inside, "I return this. It's not mine." Your heart is not a trash bin for other people's unprocessed emotions. The broken statue. Monks received a cracked Buddha statue. Some wanted to throw it away. One monk said, "Let's look inside before we discard it." They carefully opened it and discovered solid gold within. The outer layer had been cheap clay hiding a priceless core. When you feel broken, worthless, damaged, you're often judging your clay layer. But beneath the tired face, the mistakes, the past, there is still gold. You don't become valuable. You remember you always were. The angry tea. A monk made tea for his teacher. He was angry that day, full of resentment. The teacher tasted the tea and said, "I taste your anger." The monk was shocked. "Whatever is in you," the teacher said, "you pour into what you do. When life is heavy, it's easy to stew in bitterness. But that bitterness sneaks into your words, your tone, your choices, your whole energy. You're allowed to feel anger, but you're also allowed to say, I don't want to serve this anger to everyone around me." You can pause, breathe, and choose one softer act. The resting bow. An archer practiced every day until his fingers bled. He asked his teacher, "Why am I not improving?" The teacher said, "Because the bow is always pulled. A bow must rest to stay strong. Your mind is the bow. If you never rest, never pause, never step away, you will eventually snap." Rest is not a luxury. It's survival. When life feels heavy, do less, not more. The heavy rock. A student asked, "Why do I feel so weighed down?" The teacher handed him a large rock and said, "Carry this as if it were precious." After a while, the student said, "This is exhausting." The teacher replied, "That is what you do with your thoughts. You pick them up and clutch them tightly as if they are truth. You could also put them down. Not every thought is worth carrying. You can notice a thought and say, I'm not holding that today. You're allowed to put the rock down." The two wolves of the mind. A monk once said, "Inside the mind live two wolves, one made of fear, anger, and shame, one made of patience, compassion, and wisdom. Which one wins?" the student asked. "The one you feed," said the monk. When depressed, it's easy to feed the darker wolf all day, with self-hate, doom thinking, and hopeless stories. Feeding the other wolf doesn't mean pretending you're fine. It means small choices, one kind thought, one grateful moment, one gentle action. Even tiny crumbs change which wolf grows stronger. The cloud and the sky. A student said, "I am my anxiety. I am my sadness." The teacher pointed to the sky. "Are those clouds the sky itself?" "No," said the student. "Correct," said the teacher. "Clouds pass. The sky remains. Your emotions are clouds. You are the sky. You may feel like your sadness is your identity. It's not. You are the space beneath it all. The clouds will move again." The stone in the shoe. A man walked all day with pain in his foot. He cursed the road, the weather, his fate. At night, he removed his shoe and found a small stone inside. The problem had walked with him the whole way. Sometimes, what hurts most is not the world. It's the stone you carry inside. Old beliefs, old wounds, old stories about yourself. Therapy, honest talk, journaling, self-awareness. These are ways of finally checking inside the shoe. The room with no door. A monk dreamed he was stuck in a windowless, doorless room. He panicked and screamed until he woke up. His teacher said, "Did the room actually trap you?" "No," said the monk. "It was only my mind." The teacher replied, "So it is when you believe you have no way out of your situation. Depression often whispers, there is no escape. This is it. You are trapped." That's the dream talking, not reality. There are always small doors. A call, a message, a doctor, a friend, a new practice, a tiny change. The room is not real. The possibility is. The tear and the ocean. A monk cried one night from deep sorrow. He apologized to his teacher. The teacher said, "Do you know where that tear came from?" "From my sadness," the monk replied. "From your heart," said the teacher. "And where do all tears eventually return?" "To the ocean," said the monk. "So does your pain," the teacher said softly. "Back into something vast and shared by all beings. You are not the only one who feels this way. Your sadness doesn't make you strange. It makes you human. Your pain belongs to the great ocean of all hearts learning how to heal." The hand that lets go. A student held a rope tied to a heavy weight dangling over a cliff. His hands hurt. His arms shook. He cried, "Why is this so painful?" The teacher said, "Because you won't let go." The The student whispered, "But what if it falls?" The teacher replied, "Then it won't be crushing you anymore." Sometimes what makes life heavy is not what's happening, but what you refuse to release. An old relationship, a guilt, a version of yourself, a plan for how life should have been. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting it drag you off the cliff. The lamp in the dark room. A student sat in a dark room feeling hopeless. He said, "I can't see a way out. Nothing helps." The teacher brought a single candle and lit it. The whole room changed. Did the darkness fight with the light? The teacher asked. "No," said the student. "It just left." When life feels heavy and depressing, you don't need to solve everything. You just need one small light, one act of kindness, one honest conversation, one step toward help, one breath fully felt. Darkness doesn't argue with light. It just disappears when light is present. You are allowed to be that light for yourself.
Lua acrescente outro. Forde e a avidez.
You have just listened to 23 Buddhist stories for the days when life feels heavy and depressing. Let them stay with you. Let them echo gently in your mind. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are not your worst day. You are the sky behind the clouds, the gold beneath the clay, the light in the dark room. If these stories brought you any peace, please subscribe to Buddha Story Haven and comment where you're listening from. May you be safe. May you be held. May you be free from unnecessary suffering. May you remember you are not alone. Thank you for listening.